Welcome to the video assignment for Module 1, the Early Republic for History 1301 for an NCTC. This one is titled Transportation in the Market Revolution. American life had changed little during the colonial period. On land, people got around either by walking or by horsepower. Roads were little more than trails through the woods. One such road was the Natchez Trace that ran from New Orleans to Nashville. On water, they used sailing ships, using existing rivers and streams. There were no canals. In 1800, it took 50 days to move goods from Cincinnati, Ohio to New York City. Goods went down the Ohio River and then up the Mississippi River on a flatboat to New Orleans. There, goods were loaded on a sailing ship that traveled along the Gulf Coast and up the Atlantic coast to New York City. Most manufacturing was done by hand, using the artisan-apprentice relationship. To communicate over long distances, people wrote letters. Because many Americans devoted their energies to solving the problems that inhibited interstate commerce, an economic transformation known as the Market Revolution took place during the first half of the 19th century. There were three catalysts for the Market Revolution: innovations in transportation, innovations in communications, and innovations in farming. Using these inventions, Americans opened new land for settlement, reduced transportation costs from farm to market, and eased the selling process between manufacturer and consumer. Local farmers were linked to national and international markets. Finally, farmers became consumers of manufactured goods. This video assignment discusses the innovations in transportation: toll roads, canals, steamboats, and railroads. Toll roads. Between 1800 and 1830, over 900 companies built new roads in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic regions. Most of these roads were constructed locally, but there were state roads as well. Other roads were built and operated by private companies. The first highway was the National Road that ran from Cumberland, Maryland, west to Vandalia, Illinois. In 1806, Congress approved construction from Cumberland to Wheeling, Virginia. The road was completed in 1818 and then extended to Vandalia in 1839. Overall, toll roads never made a profit. Toll roads had high maintenance costs. Revenues were dependent on tolls earned from toll gates, but horse-drawn wagons were inefficient at transporting goods over long distances, and consumers used shunpikes to get out of paying the tolls. Shunpikes were short detours that were designed to get around the toll gate, but by the 1820s, turnpikes gave way to improved water transportation. Steamboats. Steamboats improved water transportation by increasing the speed of travel, thus lowering expenses. Steamboats also made upstream travel possible. This is travel against the current. Before the steamboat, the flatboats that carried goods downstream to New Orleans would be dismantled and sold for firewood, while the farmer would simply walk back home. With the steamboat, operators could operate transportation in a circuit. Artist and engineer Robert Fulton invented the steamboat. In 1807, he launched the Clermont, the first boat powered by steam. The Clermont traveled from New York City to Albany up the Hudson River. In 1811, Fulton's benefactor, Robert Livingston, launched the first steamboat on the Mississippi River. Another entrepreneur in steamboats was the Commodore, Cornelius Vanderbilt. In 1817, he operated a steamboat between New Jersey and New York for Thomas Gibbons. Gibbons competed for steamlight traffic with the Livingston family, and his attempts to bankrupt the Livingstons brought about the Supreme Court case Gibbons versus Ogden, in which the court ruled that states had no power to interfere with interstate commerce. By 1830, Vanderbilt was his own man, operating steam lines from Long Island to New Jersey. By the 1850s, Vanderbilt switched from regional lines to ocean-going steamships. The reason? There was gold in California. After the Civil War, Vanderbilt switched to railroads and connected New York to Chicago by rail. With his wealth, Vanderbilt endowed $1 million to Central University in Nashville, Tennessee, which was then renamed Vanderbilt University. Canals. Normally little more than big ditches. Canals connected cities in the interior to ports on the coast. By 1837, 3,000 miles of canals were built along the Ohio and Mississippi River valleys. Financed by the state of New York, the Erie Canal was the longest canal in the world, stretching 363 miles from Albany to Buffalo. The Erie Canal reduced shipping costs by allowing goods to be shipped from the Old Northwest to New York City through a route that included the Great Lakes and the Hudson River. This was a shorter route than using the Mississippi River. By reducing costs and saving time, Erie Canal made New York City the nation's top shipping port in 1830. Railroads. Canals connected waterways. Railroads connected towns over land. Like Johnny Cash, they went everywhere. Railroads stimulated coal mining and iron manufacturing in western Pennsylvania and Virginia. The first American commercial railroad, the Baltimore and Ohio, better known to you as the B&O, started operations in 1828. The first engines, if you want to call them that, were mules. In 1830, Peter Cooper invented the first steam locomotive he called the Tom Thumb. It was little more than a steam boiler on wheels, but it impressed the managers of the B&O. Andrew Jackson was the first president to ride the rails, and on August 25, 1835, regular rail service was inaugurated between Baltimore and Washington. South Carolina Canal and Railroad combined the benefits of rails with the benefits of water. In doing so, this company created the first long-distance railroad by clearing a path from Charleston to Hamburg, South Carolina. Author Nathaniel Hawthorne said that the locomotive, with its unsettling whistle, brought the noisy world into the midst of our slumberous space. He also called the Erie Canal fertilizer, because so many farmers moved to upstate New York to take advantage of the canal. By 1860, the United States had laid more than 30,000 miles of track, which was more than the rest of the world combined. Most of the track was laid in the North and the Old Northwest. The South still depended on waterways. Texas had 3 railroads in 1860, one of whom, the Houston Tap, used mule power to operate a route between Galveston and Houston. Overall, the federal government spent $60 million on internal improvements between 1787 and 1860. Not to be outdone, state governments spent $600 million on internal improvements in the same time period. Thank you for watching this video assignment on transportation and the market revolution, and may the force be with you.